Alrighty, so we're gonna start with our feet about hip width apart and just start to reach down for the floor and come into kind of like a lazy squat, like not really squatting. I'm not really deadlifting, but we're just gonna start moving. And then the more that you do, I want you to just slowly start to come a little bit closer to what your squat looks like. And so rep after rep, you're just maybe straightening up through your torso or bending a little bit more at your knees. And in a couple of repetitions, I just want you might have to adjust your feet and that's fine, but come down into the bottom of that squat position. Now I'm actually gonna kind of come up onto my toes and lift my heels a little bit as I'm just shifting kind of side to side. And then if it feels good, you might just actually come and settle into the bottom of that squat. Take a couple of deep breaths here. You're gonna try to direct your breath into your bra band versus breathing really deep and low. It's not that that's wrong, but maybe we don't feel comfortable with that pressure. Bring your hands onto the floor, put weight into your hands and start to extend your hips up. Straightening out your legs. Now you're leaning forward. Maybe your hands are still touching the floor. Maybe they had to rise up away. But just getting into a hip hinge here, swaying your hips, maybe bending and straightening your legs. Yeah, perfect. Good. Come on up into standing. And you can do this either way. You can face the screen or you can come to the side. I'll switch between views just so that you can see me. But in standing with your feet about hip width apart, just step your right foot back and come into a lunge. In this lunge position, you're grounding through your back toes and you've got 3 points of contact through your front foot. Thinking about getting up nice and tall out of my feet, rising up. And then we're going to bring our hands up to a point where it's comfortable. So maybe your arms are straight up in front of you. Maybe they're out to the side a little bit. And now what I'd like you to do is set your back heel down, but your foot is on an angle. Okay, so my heel is in more towards my body and my toes are actually out a little bit. So my foot is angled out. And just see how that changed how you feel through your hips, right? So we could get really strict and say that if you look down at your hips, that you're going to try and square them up to the room. But that might cause you to maybe feel like, oh, my back knee goes in a little bit. Okay, so maybe make that subtle adjustment. Okay. Then we're going to open up our torso. You're going to take the back toes of the back foot, or like the balls, and actually turn your foot open now to a 90-degree angle. So my back foot is here, and then my torso is open. Thinking about getting up nice and tall and long. Tip your front arm forward, back hand goes back. And we're just reaching up, staying grounded through our legs, finding as much ease as we can there because we're holding a position. Then we're going to switch and we're going to dump our front arm forward. We might actually come to rest on the knee or the thigh, pardon me, and then reaching up. So release any tension in your jaw. If you don't like this position of your arm, just bring it straight out over your head or along your ear versus away and straight up towards the sky. Good. All right. Pinwheel yourself back up. Woo, I can hear my leg talking to me. Turn the front foot toes now to 90 degrees. They're parallel with each other, but like perpendicular to, I guess, on my mat, whatever. Now, with a little bit of a softness in the knee, go ahead and hinge forward. You might be able to get your hands, your palms on the floor. If not, you might hold your fists down. And we're going to settle here for a moment. So go ahead and relax your neck down. Your head drops towards the ground. I want you to take some nice deep breaths and see if you can settle into a comfortable position that's giving you a little bit of a stretch, but isn't too intense. And then as you maybe settle here for 3 more breaths, you might find that you can sink in a little bit more, whether feel that into your calves, the back of your leg, maybe the front of your hips. Oh, good. So vertebra by vertebra, or just segment of spine by segment of spine, just roll on up back into standing, ground through your feet, roll back up. Ah, nice. Okay. So now we're going to go through on the other side. So we can come through it in through the lunge, or we can just pick up our front foot, which would be the opposite foot now. And we're going to turn that foot to face out. So what was once my back foot or my front foot is now my back foot, and it's facing 90 degrees. My other foot is forward. So we're going to kind of go through the flow the opposite way. Okay. So hips are open in terms of being relative to like what direction you're facing, open that way. And see if you can just gently keep your front knee tracking over your front foot toes. And your back knee is in a comfortable position, really grounding through those 3 points of contact. Okay. We're just taking a moment to set our base because we kind of did that on the other side first, right? And then since we're flowing the other way. Arms can come up, finding a softness and a gentleness in your shoulders to keep your arms there. Thinking about getting up nice and tall. We're going to lift that front hand up towards the ceiling. The back hand comes down. Thinking about getting tall, even though we're bent back. Getting up nice and tall. And then bringing our hands in the opposite direction. Front arm goes forward, maybe coming to rest on that front thigh again. The other arm straightening up towards the ceiling. Just like that, Heather. Yep. Perfect. Awesome. With strength, come back. Keep the legs where they are. I know they're talking to you. Hands come parallel to the floor. We're going to pick up that back heel. And this, we have to adjust our feet, but we're going to pick up that back heel. So now the back leg is at more of like, that heel is more inside and the toes are turned out at about a 45-degree angle. All right, maybe feeling that in through your calf, through your hips. We're looking again down at our hips, trying to have them come now in the direction that we are facing. And then just bring your arms up to wherever is comfortable. Maybe up quite up high. And we're just going to take a couple breaths here. And to get out of this, I want you to come up onto the toes of your back foot. Straighten out your foot so that your heel is now behind your toes, and we're back in this. This would be like, I don't know, like a tall warrior or a high warrior before we actually set the heel down. And then lean forward, pick up that back foot, match it with your front one, and stand up nice and tall. Cool. Woo! And then just feel free, you can move kind of however you want. I love some of that static stuff. Hopefully you're feeling some strength, having to hold the position through your legs, and at the same time, feeling some gentle stretching, maybe throughout your muscles. Yeah, so nice little yoga flow. I don't know the actual names, most of them, but yeah, just something different. And, you know, if you want to do some mobility, but also some strength, like I said, hopefully you found that in both of found all of that in the movements. That was the goal. So we are going to transition now into our strength portion, I guess, if you will. But again, the yoga flow has good strength. Pop on if you want to share anything or mention anything. So if you want, you can pull up the chat. Let's go through each of the movements. All of them are down on the ground. So if you need a blanket or a yoga mat or something like that, but carpet is good as well. Maybe a pillow if you've got one. But we're gonna do, if you want to just watch, I could demo all the movements and then I can take you through them. Maybe that would be good to do. And I can talk out what we're gonna do as well. So, let's do this since we're on the floor. Wrong way. There, okay, cool. All right, so we're going to do 3 rounds. We're going to do 10, I don't know what these are called. I'm sure you've seen them, and you can kind of put your hands however you want, depending on how your wrists feel, but we come up and then we're actually going to bend our elbows down to touch our bum down, and then we lift back up. We can get up really tall if we want and bend from here. Again, like I said, you can kind of choose how you want your hands to go, but they're little tricep dips. It's just a very small range of motion. So we're gonna see how 10 of those feel versus 8. So if you want, I think I saw a couple people trying them. Similar to a tricep dip on a bench, very similar to a tricep extension with weights, but if you don't have anything, then it works good. After the tricep lifts, we are going to come down onto one of your sides. So we're going to end up doing both sides. We're going to do 2 movements back to back on one side before we flip over to the other side. We've got a total of 5 movements actually that we're going to run through. We'll take it round by round. But coming down onto our side, you can bring yourself up onto your elbow. And then your top knee gets bent. The front or the bottom leg is open, facing up towards the ceiling. The top arm is going to move. But not the bottom arm. Yeah, okay, sorry. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring your knee up and in, straighten the leg back out. It can touch and rest if you want, but it doesn't have to. And then you're going to high five the inside of your foot. And you come back out straight. So you high knee, straighten back out, high five your foot. High knee, straighten back out, high five your foot. So you're only high fiving your foot every second time. I know. That's why I was like, okay, how do I explain this? Is that making sense? Yeah, knee up, back straight, and then high five. Okay. After that, we're just going to pop up into a really quick side plank for about 15 to 20 seconds. Just as a little bit of a finisher within it. And then we're going to switch over to the other side and do the same crunch here. Okay. Little side plank. And then wherever you're at, you can just lay down. And instead of just typical glute bridges, today we're going to do frog pumps. So the frog pumps, you put your feet together, your knees come apart, not all the way necessarily resting down, but to a comfortable position. Hands can kind of be wherever you want. And then we're going to lift up from here instead of being here, like we would for a hip thrust or a glute bridge. Yeah. So all the movements are going to be about 8 to 10 reps. So triceps, side crunch, side plank, frog pump. All right. Any questions with any of the movements? No? Okay, cool. This is a part 2 where I'm always like, if you need a little bit of music, you could put some on in the background of you. I haven't figured out how to do that on my end and have it kind of, you know, be quiet, but you can hear it, but then also hear me. So feel free to play something in the background if you want. We'll flow through it together. If you're watching me, I will stop moving to try to watch you guys a little bit too. So I get a little bit of a workout, but it's for you guys, obviously. So it all works out. All right. We are ready to go. So we start in this like reverse tabletop position, I guess. So what I kind of find with my wrists and with my hands is that my hands kind of like to be kind of turned out like this, not necessarily fingers pointing straight behind me, but kind of turned out. And that seems to get into my triceps, but also not bother my wrists. So go ahead, lift your hips up, and then we're going to drop down for 1, 2, 3, 4. So the hips and the body, 5, stay the same. 6, your hips are just going to be up higher or lower. 8, depending on what you want to do. 9, and then I think that one was 10. Good job. Let's relax down. Just go onto the side, I guess, so you're kind of facing the camera. So up on your elbow, plant through the back of your hand or your palm and your elbow here. Top leg is bent, grounded into the floor. Bottom leg is straight, arm is up. So try to stay up a little bit. Sometimes we crunch down into our shoulder. That's where our shoulder bugs us. So stay up. Bring the knee in towards your chest. Straighten back out. Now come in, high five your foot. 1. Bend. High five. Bend. High five. 3, 4. Yeah, there you go. So bring the knee up and in, and then high five the foot. So 2 separate movements. Yeah, a couple more, you're getting it. Last one, high knee, high five. Good. So you can, for the side plank, if you want, be straight arm or side arm, depending on how that arm feels after all of that. But we're going to come up and we're going to come into a side plank, and that can be from your knees, or you might actually be from your feet. Okay, so you can decide what you'd like to do. Everybody up, here we go. I'm just going to count in my head. So taking nice breaths into your bra band, spreading the tension throughout your whole body. 15 seconds. We're just going to 20. Last breath. Come on down. Okay. As you switch over, kind of maybe shimmy the shoulders a little bit if you want. All right, we're coming into the other side. So, and you can kind of decide like how upright you are. Like this is me being like pretty stacked this way versus I'm kind of like rolled back a little bit for these high fives. So keeping your arm pointing up towards the ceiling, that bottom leg, the knee bends in towards your chest. And it straightens back out. And then we high five the inside of the foot. High knee, straighten out, high five. Yep. 3. So 1 rep is both movements. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. All right, now we're on to our side for the plank. Here we go. Go ahead and lift up. That top arm can be wherever you want it to be. Doesn't matter. You're strong through your arm, the length of your body into your legs. $15. Find your breath. Spread the tension. And come on down. Whew. All right, lay onto your back. Feet are together. Knees go apart a little bit. You might choose to like flatten your back a little bit. So tilting your pelvis back, flattening your back against the floor. That's where you might decide to lift from there. Sometimes people, if they just lift up straight, they kind of feel it in your back and it's uncomfortable, but whatever way feels better for you. Okay, so we'll start together with our first lift. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, up. It's not going to be a huge range of motion, so you're just lifting up to the point that you maybe feel a bit of stretching through the front of the hips and you feel those glutes helping you. 8, 9, 10, and rest. Good, you can come back up into that tall position. I know the crunch can be a bit of a, I have to think about this and move. So does anybody have any questions? Because we'll flow through the next round like pretty good now, just to keep us all on track. But if you don't have any questions, then we'll just go. Cool. All right, here we go. Second round from the top. Tricep lifts. Go ahead and lift your hips up to the point where you want to go from. And then we're going down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. I think most people were on their right sides. Yeah. So I like to I'm actually like pretty lean back when I'm doing it versus being up tall. So here we go. You start with the high five of the knee or the high knee, and then high five the foot. High knee, high five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well done. 7. That's 8. You can be good there, or do 2 more. Last one. Whoop, there. All right, and then onto your side, little side plank finisher here. Everybody come on up. All done. Finding your breath, finding that strength throughout your whole body, spreading that tension. This is a whole body exercise. 15. You may stay. We're going to 20. And come on down. All right, over to the other side. Ooh, we're really heating up our houses, aren't we? Maybe you're in the basement and it's cold. We're in the living room. We're trying not to use the AC too much, so I'm gonna just live with it. We'll have my nap in the basement. All right, so we're getting onto the other side. High knee. High five. 1. High knee. High five. 2. There you go. Everyone's got it. 4. 5. 6. 7. This is 8. Good job. 9. Last one. 10. All right, up onto your side for the plank. I think everyone's in it for the 20 seconds. Here we go. Hips are up, ready to go. Feels good to challenge our bodies today in a way that supports our health. That's 15, couple more breaths. And rest. All right, onto your back for frog pumps. Feet together, knees fall out to the side. You can still keep your big toes planted on the floor if you find it kind of bothers your ankles. That you might turn your toes away from each other. All right, maybe you flatten your back, maybe you don't. We're gonna lift up for 1. And 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. If you are squeezing at the top, it doesn't need to be all out. Maybe about 50, 40%. Your butt is working to help you get there. Last one. All right. Okay, let's have a look here. Okay, so it's 11:31. What would you like to do? Would you like to go through one more round and then maybe do some mobility or a bit of a cool down on your own? Or do you want to flow into mobility right now?
I'd vote for mobility, but that's just me.
You get to vote.
Yeah, I'm down for mobility.
Okay. Heather's shaking her head yes too. Okay. Perfect. All right, just because I gave us a time, I want to be mindful of that. Yeah, so we're going to continue to do a little bit of some laying on the floor. Yeah, I just enjoy these. So I think I don't know if I've shown us too many of these in the gym. So yeah, I kind of picked some new ones. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoy. Come down onto whatever side you want, because we're gonna go through one side and then we're going through another. And you're gonna actually just come all the way down. You might kind of prop your head up with your hand, or you might just actually lay onto your side. Doesn't matter. What you're gonna do though, and this just kind of depends on your mobility and your limbs, but you're gonna reach in front and the inside of your knee with your top arm, and you're gonna just kind of come and grab the toes or the outside of the foot. And all we're gonna do here is just bend and straighten the knee. And if that's a lot, you might just come and grab behind the back of the knee. We're just working into a little bit of a hamstring. Maybe you're getting a bit of a calf stretch. You might actually let that arm just come out totally away from the knee. And then just making sure there's nothing behind you. Just roll onto your back, let your other knee come up into a bent position. We're going to come into a single leg happy baby. So holding on to the shin or onto the foot still. You're just going to maybe encourage that hip to bend and bring the knee in towards your chest, or maybe just let the knee bend so that the foot isn't pointing up towards the ceiling. And then using both hands on the on your knee. Just go through some assisted hip circles. So using your hands to help your knee go in a circle and switching directions. Release that leg out straight. You're going to roll back onto the side that you were on before you rolled onto your back. Okay, let's come back this way. So roll back onto your side, stack your knees are bent. And you're gonna open your shoulders so that they're coming to pretend, or maybe they get close to laying on the floor. Oh, like this. And as you just lay here, just see how you feel through your rib cage. And then see how you feel through the front of your shoulder, maybe into your back. And you might actually take that arm that's reaching towards the floor. You might just decide that you want to kind of move it up and over your head in a motion, then down towards your hip like you're making a snow angel. And then you might just find yourself in a rested position. Take a couple of deep breaths. Bend the elbow, bring the hand to your chest, and then just ease your way back onto your side. Now, laying on your side, straighten out your bottom leg. If you can, grab that top leg around the ankle, and we're going to stretch through quad. Yep, perfect. Release that leg. Roll onto your back, make your way onto your other side. So I guess if you want to be watching and facing, just flip yourself around. Like I'm dancing on the floor. You guys too. So laying on your side, we started with the hamstring stretch. So top arm grabs onto top leg. And we go through some bending and straightening of the knee. You can be totally laying down, or you can be propped up a little bit. Enjoying the feelings and the sensations of just gently putting your muscles and your connective tissue, your nerves, under a little bit of some gentle tension, moving in and out. Maybe you pause, stretching the leg out in this hamstring stretch here. Last couple, or if you're ready, roll onto your back. The other knee bends. You can come into a single leg happy baby, where the knee is bending, coming towards your body. Maybe your foot's straight and reaching out towards the ceiling, or maybe the knee is bent and your foot is down towards your glutes. A little bit of compression here. Maybe feels tight. Okay, just shift and relieve some of that. Grab onto your knee with both hands. We're going to go through some of those active assisted hip circles here. About 4 or 5 one way. And switching 4 or 5 the other way. Good. Rest that leg down. We're going to come back on to our side. Knees are stacked, so they're bent and they're stacked. And you can open your chest, rolling your shoulders down towards the floor. Maybe the elbow stays bent, or you can straighten out that arm right away. It's okay if your knees come apart so that you can find the floor. If you want a bit more of a stretch, though, you might actually keep the knees together by maybe using your other hand. And just like on the other side, we might move the arm that is reaching and straight up and down along the side of our body, like we're making a snow angel. Two more breaths here. Come back onto your side. You can straighten the bottom leg if you want, but you're going to grab the top leg by the ankle, by the foot. And we're going to get into our final movement. Nice quad stretch here. Taking a moment to see how you're feeling in your body. Maybe you have space and kindness and you express gratitude. Or maybe it's just we're working on it. However we're feeling today is fine. Good. Go ahead and release that. If you want, just roll onto your back. Maybe you need to bend your knees. We're just going to take 4 deeper breaths here before we say goodbye. At your own pace, 4 nice big breaths. Whenever you're ready.